Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fallout 76 for another round of legendary crafting. Today, we're on the hunt for alien blasters. I've managed to get myself 3 of them to work with, so the idea is that we'll craft those 3, then keep re-rolling until we hopefully end up with something really good. These are a bit of a pain to get a hold of. They're only found in one location, and in my attempts to server hop that location and keep getting them, it was pretty hit or miss as to what would be there. Sometimes it would be there, sometimes it wouldn't be, sometimes it was a level 50, sometimes it was a level 20. So long story short, I have 3, so that's what we'll work with. My ideal roll on this weapon is going to be bloodied with either 50% VATS hit chance or inertial, which gives us back some AP with each kill. With the alien blaster, explosive isn't an option, and faster fire rate doesn't do anything. The weapon still just fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. So I'm thinking those first 2 are ideal if we get that lucky. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so we've got 3 alien blasters to work with, and I've got enough legendary modules for 10 rolls. So let's see what we get on the first one. We've got the Junkie's effect with the last shot effect, which I despise, and 90% reduced weight. So let's start with the good stuff, the Junkie's effect. Great effect. If you want to run a Junkie's build, it's a great effect. You get 50% damage buff, so it's definitely still one of the better legendary effects you can get, assuming you want to build for it. The other benefit to Junkies, of course, is you can get yourself addicted to chems that you want to regularly use. So if you regularly use those chems, then you keep your damage buffed up with those as well. So in addition to the legendary effect, you get whatever buffs you get from taking those chems. So that can be useful if you want to maintain all that. 90% reduced weight. It's a net positive, in my opinion. The alien blaster is not a particularly heavy weapon to begin with, but anything reducing weight is generally good, makes it easier to lug around with you. There are certainly better effects than this that could make this a little more combat effective, but I don't generally complain about 90% reduced weight. What I do complain about is the last shot effect. The last round in the magazine doing double damage sounds great until you realize that that's a 1 in 4 chance at it doing double damage, and that means in a magazine that holds, I think, 30 rounds, that becomes a 1 in 120 chance, and that assumes that you're not ever doing a tactical reload on the weapon. You're going to always deplete your magazine completely no matter what. So when you factor in all those things, yeah, that effect's not very good. Sorry, Bethesda, but that one's a loser. Okay, let's move along and see if we can get anything better on our second roll. And our next attempt gives us a Juggernaut's alien blaster with bashing damage, and it breaks 50% slower. So the only thing I really like on here is the 3rd star. The weapon breaks 50% slower. I don't like repairing weapons, that's no secret. So anything that makes them break slower is generally good in my book. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything to make the weapon more combat effective. The Juggernaut's effect is, it's been put in here as kind of a counter to Bloodied. Unfortunately, it really doesn't stack up. Where Bloodied is going to give you like 80% more damage when you're at 20% health, and then it stacks with Adrenal Reaction for even more damage on top of that. Juggernauts doesn't have any of that stuff. It doesn't have anything to synergize with. All it does is give you a 25% buff if you're at full health. So yeah, it's one thing to say that, well, you're not making the sacrifice that a Bloodied player makes, you're not running with as much risk, so you shouldn't get as much, but that's pretty disappointing. And also bashing damage still sucks. Okay, moving along. Let's try our 3rd one here. We're going to see if we can improve on that Juggernaut's effect, and then we'll start re-rolling. And no, we did not improve on that Juggernaut's effect. This one's Assassins with limb damage and a chance to generate a stealth field. So the Assassin's effect is one of many Slayer type effects that gives you additional damage against specific enemy types. It got a buff a few patches ago, so all of these got a buff. They went from 30% to 50%, so they're at least a little more enticing to use. Unfortunately, humans are already pretty squishy in Fallout 76, so if you're gonna keep around a weapon just for a certain enemy type, it's probably not going to be humans. With that said, maybe that'll give enough damage from the alien blaster to actually kill something, because this weapon is really, really weak to begin with. But yeah, probably not. Limb damage, not the effect I really want here. Limb damage is going to cripple limbs faster, but our goal is to kill things, not just make them limp around. And yeah, now I do like the stealth field effect here. I think that's kind of cool, just because of the weapon, because it's an alien blaster and it's weird and cool and interesting. Having it generate a stealth field could be pretty cool, but this one's definitely junk, so let's try again. And now we've improved it. Now we've got the Furious effect with 25% damage while aiming, and we keep our chance to generate a stealth field. So normally I'm not a huge fan of Furious, but I kind of like it on this weapon simply because the alien blaster is notoriously a low damage weapon. It's something where you're going to have to put a lot of shots on your target in order to kill it. So we're going to get the benefits of Furious. That's the drawback to Furious, is you have to hit a target 5+ times to max that out. I think it's 5. It could be 10. But it's at least 5. So you've got to hit the target a number of times to max out that damage benefit. And most weapons you don't ever get there. With the alien blaster, it's so weak, you definitely will. Unfortunately, I don't love damage while aiming on this. This is definitely going to be a VATS weapon. It's not a hit scan weapon, so it's a little different. It works a little different. It's not one that you're going to have an easy time aiming down sights with. And on top of that, you're really going to want to take advantage of targeting weak spots in VATS. So I don't really see using this as a free aim weapon. I do still think the stealth field effect is cool. I don't know how useful it is, but it's definitely a cool effect that fits well with this weapon. So Furious effect is pretty good. Stealth field effect is cool. Whether or not it's useful is an entirely different question. But it's time to re-roll something, and I think I'm going to re-roll the Juggernauts because I just don't really like that effect. Let's try this one again, and we did not improve it. Not even a little bit. So here we've got the Suppressor's effect with damage while aiming again, and extra perception. So extra perception is going to help give us some better VATS accuracy, which is good, but damage while aiming is going to kind of counteract that. So yeah, those two don't work well together. We've just discussed damage while aiming is not something I like on this. And then there's the Suppressor's effect. With Suppressors, maybe there's a need for it. Maybe there's some players that like to use it. I don't really see the need for it. I don't find the enemies in Fallout 76 to be so overwhelming that we need to reduce their damage output that much. But maybe some people do, and that's okay. Unfortunately, on a weapon like this, what I need is something that's going to make it do more damage. It is a very weak weapon. So the Suppressor's effect isn't going to do that. Sure, it makes my enemies weaker, but not by enough to justify it when we've got more legendary modules laying around and we can try for a better effect, which is exactly what we're going to do because I am not a fan of these effects. What do we have next? Ouch. Ouch, ouch. Okay, so we've got Instigating with faster fire rate and extra perception. So the Instigating effect essentially doubles your base damage on the weapon if your target is at full health. That's not a bad thing inherently, but it's also not very good. Not going to be super useful on a weapon like this. It just really isn't. The weapon simply doesn't have enough inherent base damage to make that particularly valuable. It would be nice if it did, but it doesn't. 25% faster fire rate is also a lost cause. Technically, somewhere on paper, this weapon does have a faster fire rate than its counterparts. Unfortunately, it's a semi-automatic weapon. It fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. So that's going to be true whether it has faster fire rate or not. I've tried it. There's no difference. Maybe you could steal a fraction of a second somewhere, but it really just doesn't. It doesn't really do enough for me to justify it. And extra perception helps me with VATS, but that's about it. So gotta say, not a fan of this one. We're gonna have to try again. All right, so nothing amazing in the bunch yet, but we've got time for 4 more. And this one's kind of interesting. Here we've got the quad effect. We've got the inertial effect that I was hoping for, preferably on a bloodied version. That'll replenish action points with each kill. And we're more durable. We break 50% slower. So the quad effect I'm not a huge fan of here because this weapon reloads pretty quickly and it holds, off the top of my head, at least 30 rounds in its magazine. So it's not a bad ammo capacity weapon, but quad is still pretty cool. So this is going to be 120 rounds, roughly, I think. So that's pretty solid. I'll take that. I just want to kind of take a look and see exactly how much it holds. And we'll do a quick reload. 156. Okay. I would think that would be 100. Maybe I'm off on my base capacity here. I don't have alien blasters. Let's see here. Let's reload that one. Yeah, 30. So I'm not sure how 30 times 4 is 150 whatever, but that's fine. Okay, cool. More rounds is more rounds. I'll take 156 rounds if you want to give me 156 rounds. But we've still got room to craft 3 more of these things and see if we can improve it. So the Furious one was pretty good, but not good enough, and now we just made it worse. So that sucks. But here we go. We've got another Assassin's Alien Blaster with limb damage and VATS critical meter filling 15% faster. We talked about the Assassin's effect earlier. You could do worse, I guess, but it's not particularly exciting. Limb damage. Our goal is not to make our enemies limp around. It is to murder them. And that's not really helping us do that all that much on a ranged weapon. And VATS critical meter filling 15% faster. That's good. That helps. That gives us more VATS critical shots, which you desperately need with a weapon as weak as this one. Unfortunately, everything else that comes along with it, pretty underwhelming. We've got 2 more chances. And our next roll is, ouch, ouch. It's a Stalker's Alien Blaster with the inertial effect, which I like, and the chance to generate a stealth field, which I think is probably useless, but is cool on a weapon like this. Unfortunately, the Stalker's effect is total garbage. So Bethesda got a lot of feedback on the Stalker's effect when they were doing the PTS testing of the Legendary Crafting update, and they basically completely ignored it all. But the general consensus was that you need to change this effect. What it does right now is basically worthless. If this were an effect that said, if you're not in combat, your stealth bonus gets, if you're not in combat, you do 4 times damage. Something like that. That would make it so that you can effectively one-shot almost anything on the map that's not a boss. Something like that would be really interesting because it would change up your gameplay and kind of force you to slow down so you're not just rapidly killing everything like you do now. So that would be kind of an intriguing way to go. But with this, you essentially double your VATS accuracy at 50% more AP cost. Well, who cares? VATS is already quite accurate. This is a nothing effect. So, unfortunately, Stalker's not going to give us a damage buff, not going to do anything useful for us. I like those second and third effects, but yeah, and maybe I should have kept it. Maybe the second and third effects were just kind of cool. Now we've got another Junkies. This one with limb damage and damage resistance while aiming. So the Junkies effect, we talked about it when we rolled it the first time. It's a great effect. I'm not a Junkies build, so I don't make the most out of Junkies, which is why I don't generally feature them on the channel. But with this one, maybe that's something worth reconsidering for a spotlight. We'll find out. Limb damage, again, not really going to be super helpful here. Damage resistance while aiming, I guess that helps, but we're not, again, going to be free aiming this one. This is more of a VATS weapon, so yeah. Not in love with this. Really not in love with this one. So I'd say our best roll of the day has to be that quad inertial alien blaster that we got about halfway through. So now the big question of the day is, can you actually kill anything with it? Now, I don't have a perfect build for this weapon here. I'm just kind of winging it a little bit, but I put 1 point in each of the pistol damage cards on, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit of stuff here to fill up my hunger and thirst bars so I get the buffs from those. Make sure I'm getting my nerd rage damage, and let's see what we can do to these 2 gulpers hanging out down at pylon V13. So there's the weapon. It looks cool. It sounds cool. And holy crap, is it weak. Good thing I had 156 rounds in the magazine, because I'm going to need every last one of them to kill this damn gulper. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty sad. And now he's hiding in a ditch. Is the belly more effective? No, it's really not. Okay, one dead gulper. And now we've got his buddy over here. Let's see if we can take him down a little quicker. Switch back to the head, really hammer home those VATS criticals. And okay. So, yeah. This weapon is not good, I guess would be the polite way to put it. And that is gonna do it for this one. We rolled a couple of decent, or at least interesting alien blasters, but from the looks of things, we're probably gonna need to wait around for what will be like the 75th buff to the alien blaster damage since the game came out for these to actually be useful. Kind of a shame for such a unique weapon, but hey, at least it sounds cool when you shoot it, and that's not nothing. Remember, if you like this video and you want to see more, do go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, follow me on Twitter. There's always a lot more to come on the channel, and I hope I see you all next time.